Morning, JCT. How are we doing today? This is Jack, JW, Kyle, here with the weekly safety mile with Jack and Kyle.
Hey, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jack.
And I'm John Wayne.
All right, good to see everybody. Glad you joined in with us. We got some birthdays and anniversaries we're going to talk about. We'll get that started. So let's go ahead and hit on those birthdays.
Yeah, guys, happy birthday and Merry Christmas, of course. We got Floyd Kism, Robert Barish, our very own Robert Barish.
Robert downstairs.
Robert Watkins, Johnny Ford, Sean McGee, John Irwin, Paul Sizemore, David Thomas, Yvonne Dodd, Orlando Williams, Calvin Davis, Jewel Hawkins, Robert Presley, Danny Bethurum, Alan Shamblin, Luis Rosario, Tywander Smith Andrews, Travaris Mack, what a great name, Travaris.
That is cool.
Aaron Roberts Jr., Angel Dutkovich. I really tried to get that one right. I even looked up the pronunciation, but I messed it up still. It's okay though. Ronaldo Soto, Daniel Shepis, Barry Fogel, Roshana Harrison, Shakira Thomas, and Timothy Deal. Happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday, guys. Awesome. Have a good one. Right here at Christmas, too. All right. Mm-hmm. So, all right, anniversaries. We got a few this week. 1 year, that's going to be Arthur Duran and Brian Harrell. Mm-hmm. Also, Carrie Blake for 1 year. 2 years, that's going to be Joshua Fontel. 5 year, that's a big one. That's the ring. Mark Mayfield, 5 years, and here's another one. This guy's been around a long time. Seen him here the other day. Terrence Center, 13 years, guys. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication, and I hope you had a beautiful year and many more to come. Okay, so we're looking at a little bit of weather this week. Going to be a tough one. Got a lot of cold weather, a lot of freezing rain, lots of snow across everybody. Kyle, tell us a little bit about that. What do you got?
Yeah, guys. So, here with the weather report. Now, I don't have like a good green screen to kind of show you where the weather's going and everything, but I do have the back of this sheet of paper, which
you don't have the address for it either.
Right. It will give you a pretty good. It will give you a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like out there. It's going to be very white. It's like record lows all across the Midwest. Wisconsin's got like -70 wind chill, which is insane. Your eyeballs might freeze if you're out there. So, be careful, of course. I will say, you've got your stop work authority available to you at any point that you feel as though you are not safe to drive out there. Make sure that you use that. Let us know. Of course, communicate with us as much as possible to let us know your situation. And of course, the most important thing is your safety. So don't risk anything. Make sure you are checking your weather apps. Make sure you're planning ahead, and again, communicating with us.
Guys, that's the most important thing. Stay within your ability as a driver. If you're safe and you can do it, and whenever you go to shut down, make sure you communicate with your driver manager. But if you do shut down, make sure you're making an educated decision. Make sure you're stopping someplace safe. Don't take off and stop at some crazy rest area somewhere. Make sure you get someplace, a truck stop or someplace that's got heat. I know like up on 80 and different highways, when they shut them down, if the truck stops fill up, they will, convert the truck traffic into a lot of the county and state fairgrounds in the area, like in Cheyenne and stuff. They'll move you out to the fairgrounds. That way they got first responders coming by and checking on people and making sure everybody's got what they need to be safe in that kind of weather. We don't want anybody freezing in the trucks or anything like that at some exit somewhere. So get someplace safe if you're going to shut down. And of course, always communicate. And the biggest thing about weather is being weather prepared. Have what you need on the truck to be prepared. I seen it's going to be all the way down to like 36 or 38 degrees down in the Florida Keys coming up.
Everybody's getting it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to hide from it, guys. So be prepared, be safe. All right, I call him JW, known him forever. John Wayne Christner here with us today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and talk about some of our drivers in the past that what we were talking about earlier. I refer to as building blocks to our company, and you have seen a bunch of them. I can't name them all. I mean, we was talking about Raymond Donaldson and Amos Johnson stopped by yesterday to see us, You know, there's so many.
We've got Bandit Crane. We've got the Freemans out on the road. So many great drivers.
The Mortons, Jack Senior retired, but Jackie, he's still running junior. He's out there kicking it. I think he's over 4 million JCT miles now. I mean, dedication. 27, 28 years with us. And we've got so many of those guys that are building blocks that with your grandpa, these guys had just as much hand in building this company and making us who we are. I mean, without those guys and those drivers, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have jobs. So a little bit about your experience with some of those guys.
You know, starting out at the company, I think I began out here crawling through tires out in the shop, you know, causing trouble out there. And I instantly gained and grew an appreciation for our driver fleet. As a kid, you know, seeing these legendary figures jump out of these massive rigs, you almost get a larger-than-life kind of view of some of these people.
Especially Bandit Crane with all that gold, man.
Oh, and the massive black hat. You know, he got out looking like Rip on Yellowstone everywhere he went. But, you know, I can't say enough about the feelings of pride and significance that gives me whenever I think about those people. A lot of them are since passed now, and their legend still lives on here at JCT through all of us. Many million safe miles, many loads delivered, and a true whatever-it-takes attitude that we just, you know, really can't replicate it anymore. Those guys, they really were 1 in a million.
100%.
Along with that, yeah, I mean, with JCT specifically, I've only been here for a very short amount of time, like 6 months or so, but a lot of places that you interview at, they say that we have a family kind of environment. And a lot of the time you can roll your eyes and be like, yeah, sure, everyone says that. Usually that means they're going to take advantage of me or whatever. However, that is something that I see here. There is a family environment. You know, people here, Jack, you've been here for a very, very long time. You, of course, grew up here, literally your family. That is very clear, and it does feel very welcoming. And I feel, you know, we've got drivers on here with now 1 year anniversaries coming up that, you know, can see years and years and years on in the future being with us. You know, many more years to come of this kind of thing going on. And it's just great to see. Like you said, Amos came in. It was great to see a guy want to come in whenever he doesn't work here anymore. That kind of tells you everything you need to know. That he wants to come in, see the people that he's familiar with.
86 years old now.
Crazy.
Had to come by and visit with us.
Was in a JCT truck until he turned 82. We ended up, you know, seeing Amos retire a few years ago, but he's still trying to put in a application to go drive.
Still wanting to do it.
That's great.
I think he's waiting on his medical certificate.
There
so
you
if
go.
you guys, you know of anybody who'd get him approved, maybe we could get him back on the road.
So true.
3-monther maybe.
But you know, we talk about the old drivers that helped build us, but look at the guys that are, you know, because I've often been really concerned and worried about who's going to fill those shoes. But man, we got them. I mean, we got guys like Daryl Dunn's been here like 10 years now. I mean, he stepped up and filling those shoes of those guys. Daniel Finney. I mean, the Kellermans.
Vincent Crystal, great team. I mean, we couldn't do without him.
Walter Behringer. I mean, we got these guys. Terrence
Billy
Center
as well. They're with Walt. 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
Great
these guys, they're stepping in and filling those shoes, and we're carrying on. And I know they don't get a lot of credit sometimes because we tend to work with the guys I refer to as knuckleheads. We love them too, but you know, we deal with them a little more. And a lot of our guys, like we mentioned, it's just kind of like, oh, here you go, and it's done. We don't have to, you know, coach anything along. It's taken care of. And because we don't talk to them as much sometimes, I don't feel they get the recognition they deserve.
No, that's absolutely true, Jack. You know, we always, it's kind of an 80-20 rule, you know, 80% of your issues, you know, or 80% of your problems represented by probably 20% of your fleet. And unfortunately, those 20% get a lot more attention than maybe the guys out on the road doing everything they should do. And that's why, you know, we do things like this, looking at tenure. I mean, Terrence Center, 13 years with John Christner Trucking. I don't know many people that have spent 13 years at any job, let alone 13 years on the road in a truck. So, I mean, I think that really represents a lot of the sacrifice that we're seeing here at JCT. It's significant, and we certainly don't take it for granted.
Well, I mean, that tells a story of us too. I mean, because if we're keeping them like that, the guys that are out here willing to get it done day in and day out, and they're willing to commit with us, I mean, that tells the whole story.
It's a special situation for sure.
All right, JW, tell me a little bit, guys. Many years ago, I was a driver here, and I know you guys are looking at me thinking I don't have my hat. The wind's blowing 40 miles an hour out there. I'm not wearing my hat today. Sorry. I ain't chasing it across the parking lot. But when I was a driver here years ago, you know, when 14, 15 years old. You're here riding your dirt bike around the yard and all that. But you would actually come out and fill my trailers before I would go pick up loads, and you run the weed eater, and half these yellow barricades around the yard, this guy painted. Well, actually more than half. I think at one time, I think you actually painted all of them.
They were all yellow at one point, if you can
Yes.
believe that.
So you have done so many different jobs here at JCT, especially in the last couple of years, and worked in so many different departments. Tell us a little bit about that, because I'm so proud of that. Because you just jump in and you do it like you've been doing it forever, and that's so cool. But that's just the dedication, and of course, your family and everything. That's just how it's always been done, and that's how we've always done things. I mean, like the story I told last night when your grandpa came to my office and said, "Hey, I need you to go do something for me." I said, "Well, what is it?" And he said, "Well, I need you to know if you'll do it." I said, "Well, what the hell is it?" And I said, "What will you do?" I said, "John, I'll do it. What the hell is it?" And then he just gave me enough information just to kind of keep me going. I wind up in Topeka, Kansas, pulling the Evil Knievel's 1973 Mack Golden Bulldog as cab over Mack to Texas Motor Speedway, rolling down the road like
with
a
the
rock star.
motorcycles, leathers, and all the
Yeah.
accessories to go along.
Rocket bike was in there. I mean, it's just so cool. I mean, the stuff that him and the hamsters get into, and then some of his buddies from the Kyle Petty charity ride. I mean, there's no telling what we'll wind up doing. But tell us a little bit about your story coming through in the different departments. I mean, you worked in the shop for a long time, so a little bit about that.
Yeah, Jack, I've been really blessed with the opportunity to be a part of the JCT family from an early age. My dad, Danny Christner, is currently our president. He worked alongside my grandfather, John Christner, to start this company, as well as my uncle, Daryl. And I first want to give them some thanks, because those three really, I think, alongside our drivers, have created the family atmosphere that we really enjoy today. So huge shout out to those three, as well as, especially my dad still here grinding it out today. But I can remember my JCT career, we'll call it, starting out in the parking lot, busting the gravel, fueling trailers, painting barriers, and I'll call that the introductory phase of my career here. Yeah. I transitioned into the shop. I got into some shade, which was nice. Still not air conditioning, but a little shade. And started doing our paint and body, decommissioning our fleet and getting things ready for sale and trade. Yeah. Really gained a great love and appreciation for that, working under some really great guys. And I think that's what kind of connects me as an office worker now to our shop. Until you spend a lot of time out there with those guys, you can't really appreciate what it takes to keep equipment moving and to keep equipment looking as well as ours does. So another huge shout out right now I want to give is to our shop guys. They're out there right now. It's 7 degrees in Tulsa, and they're making it happen out there. So
getting it done.
Thank you for that, guys. And I spent a little time in Denver, Colorado. I met my wife, had a couple kids, which is great.
Yeah, awesome.
Ended up back here in Tulsa and started back at John Christner in our DM room with Jennifer Heisley. Rest in peace. I think she is another one of those people that if we failed to mention, we'd be failing to mention some real instrumental, foundational people to our organization.
For sure.
Went from there over to our breakdown department for a little bit and spent about 18 months in breakdown working that shift with those guys. And if there's one department that I think my grandfather values more than any other department on the building, it would be our breakdown department. Grandpa values service and being on time more than anything, and you can't be on time or provide good service if your equipment's down. So
For sure.
Another huge shout out that I want to give here is to our breakdown guys. They're unsung heroes of our organization. They work 12-hour shifts, it's long days, and sometimes it's overnight. Huge shout out to those guys. We couldn't do without them. From there, I moved over to our recruiting department. Gene and the recruiters over there in Memorial, we love you guys. Thank you for everything you do. And a huge shout out right now I want to give out to that team. We've exceeded 700 seated trucks at JCT for the first time in years.
Yes.
It's a huge accomplishment. I know one that we've talked about.
And we are full. And that's good.
It is. And Jack.
So many companies can't say that.
And don't have the freight if they can fill the trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So doubly good issue to have here. We've got the freight, we've got the trucks, and we're keeping them rolling. So all three good things. I wrapped up my time in recruiting, and now I'm over in central planning. If you've done any work in 5, 6, and 7, for those who don't know, that's Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and then basically everything above, in the northern states there. But I'm working in planning right now, getting that done, and just kind of rounding out a really even experience, I think, across the entire organization. It's been a pleasure to work with the entire company.
Yeah, we got a lot of good people, and and your grandpa said this many, many times, we're really not in the trucking business. We're in the people business. And that's what sets JCT apart, 100%.
Absolutely. When we were looking during our transition at the tenure of our company and what that represents, we had to put it into a quantified number of years. And that number is over 1,700 right now, as far as years of tenure go. I was laughing. We had Dad and 2 employees in an office yesterday, and we had 105 years of tenure sitting there. So you can imagine it's certainly near and dear to my heart. It's still near and dear to our hearts as Christners, and we're still here every day making it happen. And I couldn't and wouldn't have it any other way. So
awesome. Well, we're moving into Christmas, so you guys take care, be safe. Merry Christmas. Anything else you want to add, throw in, guys?
Hey.
No, go ahead, please.
Merry Christmas to all you guys. Remember your fuel additives if you're going home and you're parking your truck.
100%.
Take care of your equipment, but most importantly, take care of your families. That's what this season's all about, and we love you guys. Thank you.
Love you guys. Merry Christmas.
Absolutely, guys. Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in as well. I hope it's a safe weekend for you, and that you're ringing in the new year, making some money, and being safe out there. All right. You guys have a great one. See you.
Peace out.
Take it easy, guys.